Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers bring back kicker for fourth time. The Pittsburgh Steelers have one of the best placed kickers in the league with Chris Boswell. But on April 10th, the Steelers announced they have added kicker Matthew Wright to the roster. "We have signed Matthew Wright," the official Steelers X, formerly Twitter, account wrote. Wright is returning for his fourth stint with the team. He began his NFL career as an undrafted free agent with the Steelers in 2019. Wright then appeared in games for the Steelers during the 2020 and 2022 seasons. In addition to the Steelers, Wright has kicked during the regular season for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs, and Carolina Panthers. The Steelers signed Wright after the 2019 NFL Draft. At the time, Boswell was coming off a rough 2018 campaign, so Wright had a realistic chance of winning the Steelers' place kicker job. Boswell, though, won the job and has remained Pittsburgh's kicker. But when needed, the Steelers have brought back Wright. In 2020, Wright filled in for an injured Boswell in 3 games toward the end of the regular season. Wright did the same for 4 contests, with Boswell sidelined during 2022. In those 7 contests, Wright made 16 of his 18 field goal attempts. He also connected all 14 of his extra points. His 88.89% success rate on field goals in Pittsburgh is the best percentage Wright has posted for any NFL team in his career. In between his Steelers tenures in 2020 and 2022, Wright kicked for the Jaguars during 2021. It's the only season of his career where he spent the entire campaign with one team. With the Jaguars, Wright went 21-for-24, 87.5%, on field goal tries. He was also 13-for-15 on extra point attempts. Before and after kicking for the Steelers in 2022, Wright spent time with the Chiefs. He went 3-for-4 on field goals and 8 of 8 on extra point tries in 2 games. Wright didn't kick for Kansas City during the 2022-23 playoffs, but he was on the team's practice squad through the AFC Championship game. During 2023, Wright spent time with the Panthers, San Francisco 49ers, Atlanta Falcons, and New England Patriots. But he only appearance in 1 regular season game. That was for the Panthers, and he missed his lone field goal attempt. In 24 NFL games, Wright has converted on 85.1% of his field goals. He's also made 35 of 37 extra points, 94.6%. Boswell hasn't made the Pro Bowl since 2017. But he's kicked at a Pro Bowl level multiple times since then. Boswell posted a field goal percentage of 90% or better in 4 of the past 5 seasons. Last year, he made 29 of 31 field goals, 93.5, and one of his 2 misses was a 61-yard attempt just before halftime. He also missed just 1 extra point last year. In fact, Boswell has connected on 45 of his last 46 extra point tries dating back to the start of 2022. With his success since 2017, Boswell has signed multiple contracts with the Steelers. His current deal runs through the 2026 season. In 2024, Boswell will have a $4.72 million cap hit. Therefore, even if Boswell suddenly hits a slump during training camp and the preseason, it's unlikely that the Steelers hold a place kicker competition. If the Steelers release Boswell, they will actually have a bigger dead cap hit than cap hit with him on the roster. So, it will likely take Boswell significantly struggling in the regular season for his job to be threatened. In all likelihood, the Steelers have added Wright to the roster again just to simply have kicker depth for the summer. Steelers reporter on recent draft pick, "Kind of figure you got him for 4 years." One of the Pittsburgh Steelers picks in the 2023 draft may have been a short-term investment. At just 22 years old and having been selected in the 3rd round, it would seem Darnell Washington has a lot of football ahead of him. That might not be the case. Before he was drafted, there were concerns about Washington's knees. Those concerns weren't enough to deter the Steelers from drafting him. During a chat on the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's website, Ray Fittipaldo revealed that he thinks the Steelers must have known Washington's career could be cut short by his knees and made the decision to pick him thinking they'd get 4 years out of him. That's why he fell to the 3rd round, so I'm sure they knew. One of those deals where you kind of figure you got him for 4 years and that's it. Washington didn't post huge numbers during his time Georgia. As a freshman, he only made 7 catches for 166 yards. Those numbers didn't come up much in his sophomore year. In his second year as a Bulldog, Washington made 10 catches for 154 yards. His numbers got a big boost in his junior year, despite being Georgia's TE2 behind Brock Bowers. In his 3rd year with the Bulldogs, Washington made 28 catches for 454 yards. He still didn't have the most impressive production profile in a draft class that included Dalton Kincaid, 890 yards in his junior year, Michael Mayer, 809 yards as a junior, and Sam Laporta, over 650 yards in both his junior and senior seasons, but he was a highly regarded prospect in the class. That was because of his size, strength, and athleticism. Washington is a massive tight end at 6'7" and 264 pounds. At the Combine, he ran the 40-yard dash in 4.64 seconds and did 21 bench press reps to show off an impressive combination of strength and speed. Given his size, that 40 time gave him a speed score in the 96th percentile, according to Player Profiler. That made him an interesting prospect, but he surprisingly fell down draft boards, giving the Steelers the opportunity to take him on day 2 of the draft. Washington's draft stock was high for much of last year's pre-draft process. NFL.com's Lance Zierlein projected him as a first-round pick. Bleacher Report's NFL scouting department had him as their TE2 in a loaded class at the position. Then his stock plummeted because of the knee concerns. That gave the Steelers the chance to grab him well after when he was projected to be drafted, taking him with the 93rd overall pick. In his first year with the Steelers, he once again wasn't all that productive. He only made 7 catches for 61 yards. However, he did show some promise as a blocker. PFF gave him a grade of 72.3 as a pass blocker. On a team where he is once again paired with a more talented pass catcher, that may be how he makes his biggest contribution in Pittsburgh. Pat Freiermuth probably isn't going anywhere as the team's starting tight end. He had 732 receiving yards in his second year in the league back in 2022 and has expressed his desire to finish his career in Pittsburgh. That could leave blocking as Washington's main role for a while, and the Steelers will be hoping he does it well past the end of his rookie contract. Steelers predicted to add dynamic slot WR, potential center upgrade. With about 2 weeks to go until the 2024 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers have 2 glaring holes at center and wide receiver. But ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. projected the Steelers to fill those voids with Duke's Graham Barton and Washington's Jalen Mcmillan in his latest NFL mock draft on April 10. At number 20 overall in the first round, Kiper predicted the Steelers to grab Barton. The Steelers parted ways with starting pivot Mason Cole in February, and taking Barton, my top-ranked center, might even be an upgrade, Kiper wrote. Barton played center as a freshman but spent the past 3 seasons at left tackle for the Blue Devils, and I see his pro future along the interior. He allowed just 3 sacks over the past 2 seasons. Then at number 51 overall during the second round, Kiper had the Steelers targeting Mcmillan. Mcmillan was overshadowed by Rome Odunze at Washington, but he's a dynamic slot receiver, Kiper added. He missed a few games with injury last season, but he had 1,098 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2022. With those 2 selections, the Steelers would address arguably their biggest remaining needs of the offseason. It's not a foregone conclusion that the Steelers draft Barton or even a center at number 20 overall in the first round. But the general consensus appears to be that the Steelers will once again address the offensive line in some capacity during the first round. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Jalen Mcmillan? Leave your opinion in the comments.